What's going on? What's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. I'm back. It's Marquis Walker. We back with Passive Podcast. Juan will be joining us today. Big Sexy's at work, man. He's working hard, man, making that money. You know what I'm saying? He's making that money. You know what I mean? Making my money. You know what I mean? But we're waiting for our special guest to arrive, and then I'll introduce him. While we wait, let me check on him right now. I think he's okay. He's clicking on now and stuff like that. But I got a song, man. I think we got a song for the podcast. So I'm gonna play just the song. I think I'm not gonna play the lyrics yet. The lyrics are getting finalized. But check out the song. I'll give you a little preview of this, just the song itself, you know.
And there forever.
Yeah. Taj Malik, make that beat. And wait for Taj Malik's lyrics. They dope. Watch you hear him about the podcast. Dope. So while we wait for our special guest, we just gotta get in the mood a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You just gonna get in the mood a little bit. You know what I mean? What y'all think about that beat? Y'all like that beat? Let me know. If y'all got something better, y'all better send it. I got another podcast. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm checking on my guest. He said my cam is not working. Uh-oh. We're having some technical difficulties. I have him still come on. Let's see. Okay. Still come on. Still click. I'm gonna tell him we can hear his voice at least. He's having problems with his camera. I'm gonna see if he can go on his phone. Let me see if he can go on his phone. But our special guest is having technical difficulties, so let's give him a second. Let me see if I can get him on the phone. Maybe he can use that. Let's check. All right. I'll send him the link. I sent him the link in the email, so I'll send him the link in the other way. See what he can do about that. So give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. Guess it's having technical difficulties. I'm gonna tell him to click on this. And he will come aboard if this phone. See, technology, man. Technology. Oh, wait. I think device. Wait. Is he here? I think, guys. It says device is not connected. He has to connect to his device. Something's going on. He's here, but he's not here. I see something on the bottom of the screen. So I'm just waiting for. Well, I'm gonna wait and see if I see him first before I connect him. Excuse me. I want to at least give him the introduction. Hopefully his device gets connected. For now, let's just talk about a little bit how basically I met him. I met him through another podcaster slash entrepreneur. If you guys know, y'all remember Jury Love. I just did a review with her. She was podcast what? That was podcast number 7. Go check out podcast number 7 and purchase this book. I'm actually reading it now. Very good book. I'm almost done actually. So hopefully I can get her back on and we can talk about this book. But I met Yosef Israel through Jury Love, and she has a variety of friends and great people that she's networking with, and she's going to share them with me. So I appreciate that in the near future, and she's been already doing that. Hopefully, Yosef can get his situation cleared. While we're waiting, I'm gonna send this video out to a couple people. I play some music. I don't know. I can't really play no music in the background, man, because we might get flagged. But what's everybody listening to out there? What's going on? Is he here? Well, he's down there again, but I can't log him in. Band edit name, no. Device is not connected. Let's see what he's saying. He said he's sorry. He's trying to get on, man. He's trying to get on. So sorry about that, guys, man. The guest is having technical difficulties. It happens, man. It's technology, man. What y'all want to talk about, man? Get on. Let's talk about some stuff. Let's bug out, man. You know what I'm saying? Ask me some questions if you got some. While our guest is having a couple issues. But for now, let's start. Basically, we're going to talk to local speaker and author of Imagine Me Unlimited. Find yourself and believing you. So hopefully he gets on. He's still having technical difficulties. He's yeah, you have he showed me. If y'all can see this, he shows me and him having technical difficulties, man. Try to use your phone, man. Let me see. Use your phone. Use your phone. Let's see. Maybe he can do that. Maybe he could do that. Just play that song again. This is a song I could play. So this is gonna be a song to the podcast, but it's gonna be have some lyrics behind it. So while we wait for Yosef, we're gonna play the game. This is a song I know I can't get sued for, cause Taj Malik just made this beat. So I can play it over and over, and then when the lyrics come, he's about to polish up the lyrics now. It's about to be on, man. And while I'm talking, man, while we're waiting, this is the 12th podcast, man. The 12th Passive Podcast. Shout out to Juan, aka Big Sexy Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? For being my co-host. We got 12. Listen, 12, man. This is the 12th one. Number 1 was Generational Era. Number 2 was Firearm Fred, talk about guns. Number 3 was Holiday versus COVID-19 or Holidays. Number 4 was Top 10 Dream Girls, man. Number 5 was Media Minors. Are they spoiled? Number 6 was Top 10 Toys, Black Friday Christmas Gifts. Number 7 was Local Talent, Jury Love, go get the book. Number 8 was Friends to the End. Oh man, we're talking about Friends to the End. Number 9 was Cats vs. Dogs. That was a fun show. Number 10 was Local Talent, Wes Woodson. Go check that out. Very bright young man. Number 11, it must be the shoes, man. We talk about the sneaker game, man. Can't miss that. And number 12 is today. Hopefully we can get Yosef connected. He's still having problems, still having technical difficulties. I can't log him on. I don't know what's going on. I sent him the link a couple times. Let's see what he's saying. Now, okay, I will try that. He's going to try to use his phone. Hopefully that'll work out. And now, you know what I'm saying? You got to have patience with the brother, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to start sending out the link. I want to get him on so we can send out the link. I don't want to send out the link without him on. Because this show, hopefully this show happens. If you guys are in the chat, ask questions. Just ask me some questions until we get him on the show. And we can make it we'll make it fun. We'll do something. We'll do something fun. We'll do something funky, you know what I mean? You know what I do. Share, like, subscribe to the channel, Passive Podcast, man. All right. Comment below too. Today, somebody took over my reaction videos. The Queen. I gotta go check that one out. That happened this morning. We did an Anthony Hamilton track. It was really good. So I like that track. Yosef still having problems here. So, yo, what y'all listen to? This Friday came out. A lot of music came out. Wait. I think I see him. Okay, I see him. All right, man. We're gonna start the show. Let me introduce the brother, the king, you know what I'm saying? Real quick intro. We're a little late, but I'm gonna do a quick intro to the king, to the star. We got author, we got speaker, we got poet, musician, local town legend, and great friend to the show. We got Yosef Yisrael, man.
Hey,
Yosef,
thank you so much, man. I'm
man.
so glad to be here. I finally made it, right?
Welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's been, oh wow, it's been a technical difficulties. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm like, am I going to get on this or what?
Listen,
I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, I'm trying to work out all the technical stuff. I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. It's crazy, but I'm here. It's great to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
appreciate it, man. Listen, you were highly recommended, and I already talked to her. I mean, talked to about her, but by Jury Love, and I did a lot of some research on you, man. You got a lot of things going on right now.
Wow.
But I want to first talk about Jamaica, man. You know, a lot of people
Ah.
they hear Jamaica. Of course, they think of the Marleys. They hear, they start doing their fake accents and yeah, man, and stuff like. I even do it. You know what I mean? Tell us about Jamaica, man, and tell us about how you got here and did you land? Where'd you land first?
Oh wow! It wasn't Plymouth Rock, I could tell you that.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. I said big up Jamaica, that's how we do it in a rubbered up style. So
Here we go. The accent's coming out, baby. Yep. I love it. I love it.
yeah. So I came here, man. My parents brought me here. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that I was coming here until 2 weeks before I landed. So it was a
Oh.
secret. Yeah, it was a secret mission. Mission impossible kind of thing. So they brought me here, man. After high school, I went to high school there, and eventually, after I graduated from high school, I went to 1 year university there, and then my parents thought it might be best to bring me here because at the time the inflation was pretty bad in Jamaica. Like what we thought was pretty bad is really really bad now, but.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
At the time, it just seemed like things were not working out economically for us, and my parents made a decision that we should come here. But there's nothing like growing up in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, and having that kind of flavor, good food, water, sea, being surrounded by water, and having just like fruits everywhere, and always this good vibe, good music, and stuff like that. So grew up on a lot of the reggae music and things like that. There was a lot of music from the United States as well. So we grew up with like Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson,
Okay. So
Michael
you
McDonald. We heard all these.
oh,
Yeah,
the
we heard.
classics.
Yeah, the top 40 stuff, man. We heard all that stuff. Country and Western, Kenny Rogers, like we were the country
Oh,
Western,
okay.
the Beatles and things like that. So, we heard some of these things as we're growing up, but mainly the Jamaican music was dominated. That was really infused in us, as part of our culture. So it was a really rich kind of experience to grow up in, man, definitely.
Now, do you remember a lot of like when did you leave? Like, were you a teenager or was it something
I
like that? Like,
was
how
I was
long?
18 when I left,
Okay, so you got to
so
induce in yourself in
yeah.
the juices of the flavor before you left. So you had an opinion before you left, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad that was the case because I think I've met a lot of Jamaicans who have left when they were kids, and it's like there's something missing there. You know what I'm saying? But then there are a lot of people who left early, but they keep going back every year, so they kind of get reconnected
Hmm.
to that kind of culture. So it just depends on your environment here. How you connect to your own people. So, but
So
it's great.
the music there was, of course, like if people think Jamaica, they automatically think of the Marleys too. Did you
Mm-hmm.
listen to a lot of the Marleys back then, or was it like you got more artists that you can probably name off the top of your head? That
Yeah, I
was
mean,
like
we
heavy
had we had a
influence.
lot of the famous Jamaican artists, because it's not like you necessarily had to buy a record because the culture in Jamaica is like you had a like this bar, you'd be walking past these bars and they have these huge speakers standing up outside the bars and they'd be blasting the music. You could hear for miles.
Yeah.
So you always heard the music playing somewhere around, and so it was Bob Marley. There was my favorite Dennis Brown, you
Ooh, Dennis
know.
Brown. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Touch,
Get in touch.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
classic.
yeah.
Ooh,
Just some,
the old
so,
classics, the original OGs
yeah, yeah, man, yeah, man.
of reggae.
Yeah, man, yeah. So we had some really good, like later on we had Garnet Silk and some of these new guys coming up, but still keeping the same whole true vibe. to tradition, and you can't beat it. Like now, like one of the artists I love listening to is Queen Ifrica. You know, she's one of the modern artists that's come out, but she's real. She got the real rock, real reggae rock. Like,
Queen,
you know,
say it again. Queen Ithaca?
Ifrica. So instead
Ifrica.
of Africa, it's Ifrica. You know,
She's
but
new. She's a new artist.
I think she's been on the scene probably maybe about 10 years now or
Okay.
so. But she's I heard her music one time. I was in a Jamaican restaurant and I heard it playing in the speakers. I'm like, who's that? I got it, you know, because it was just like hitting me. That the soul of that music was hitting me. So I had to go out and get it, man. And like, you know, so real music, man.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Have you ever heard? I'm gonna tap in. I've watched these and I review them, and then if somebody is something, because I like to learn too. This is another one of the reasons I do these podcasts, to learn from people like yourself, people that listen. You experience your life. You got a lot of things to share. I'm experiencing my life, but still experiencing my life. We got a lot to share. So having local people on that just as smart as me is going to benefit me and yourself in the near future. Have you ever heard, speaking of reggae, Damian Marley had an album with Nas, I don't know, the rapper Nas. It was called Distant Relatives. Have you ever heard of it? Distant Relatives?
No.
I think it came out in 1995. I actually did a review on it, but it's a classic record.
Okay.
A known rapper, Nas. I don't know if you know Nas.
No.
And
I'll
of
have to
course,
check it
Damian
out.
Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. So it's different, like because when you said that, who was the artist again? The female artist again?
Queen Ifrica.
Queen Ifrica. See, so hopefully everybody starts to check her out as well. And I want to see.
Man, she's really good. She's
Yeah.
the
I
real
like
deal,
you
man.
to broadcast that. You know what I mean?
She's a real
See,
deal, man.
you got somebody already saying they're gonna look her up. See, that's why we like to give people their flowers with. And what's up with Matt? What's going on, Matic 2010, man? Welcome to the chat. Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, brother, for coming in and giving us a comment. You can ask us any question. This guy is very knowledgeable. I got some questions for him, man. I'm gonna try to like stump him.
I hope I have the answers, man.
Hey, listen. I think you do, man. I think you do. Listen. So the first question I want to ask you is, okay, did you move? Did you say where you moved? You went to was it Baltimore, Maryland? Is that where you moved to when you came to the States?
When I first moved to New York, so I was in New York for a minute.
Oh, New York first.
Yeah, and then my parents they moved up to Boston. So I spent a lot of time in Boston after that. I kind of moved back to Maryland. I mean to New York for a little bit because I met some Jamaican guys and they were like in this little band and we were just kind of going around playing and stuff like that. So it was kind of like just my peers, you know, and I felt like Boston was kind of boring because I didn't know anybody there. And so I kind of met these guys and we're kind of on the same level. So I started hanging out with them and I kind of started drifting a little bit too, you know. We're just kind of like young guys, not really like figuring out our lives where we want to go. But and then I moved to Boston.
You were a musician, so you were chasing. So that's one of your. Are you still a musician? Do you play? What instruments do you play? And
I haven't played in a while. I play bass, guitar, and play piano. So I grew up playing guitar when I was like about 5-6 years old. And,
oh wow!
And so yeah, when I came to the States and I got exposed to more like keyboard and stuff like that, and I really wanted to pick up as many instruments as I can, but I couldn't afford it because I was on my own. You know, I was like 20 years old trying to, find my way, but I didn't have money to pay for these lessons that I would have liked to have had. So a lot of my lessons were short-lived for, initially. And this was back in New York. I was trying to work and pay for my, but it was kind of rough. But I started playing guitar first, and that became just a natural thing for me. I kind of actually had a natural talent for it, for music. So it kind of came like without much effort per se, but it just in my bones, And
so did your parents play? Did your family play? Were you guys like the Marleys that weren't discovered? Were you guys the Marleys that never got discovered? Y'all were just local Marleys?
my parents had talent, but it wasn't something that they really capitalized on because I think growing up in their time, it wasn't something that they would have even had time to pay attention to that. So yeah, I think it just kind of passed on through us. And so me and my siblings kind of had some of that flowing. Some of us paid more attention to it than others, but
Mhm.
me and my other brother that I follow, he is like a bass player, and he's done that for many years. So, but it just came naturally to us, like back in Jamaica at some point, because we're playing on the religious circuit too. Like, and at one point, like we became pretty known around town, like in
Mhm.
different parishes in Jamaica, as players, guitar players. So we started there, and then came to the States. I kind of picked it up eventually when I moved to Boston. I was kind of back and forth with it until someone suggested that I look into Berkeley College of Music. Yeah.
So I know you went to Berkeley. That's one of my questions. But you also went to two colleges. Name the two colleges that you went to, and give us a little history on your education.
Okay, so I went to Newberry College first. This is in Boston, and I went to study. It's in the medical field. It's a respiratory therapy. So I became like a lung specialist, like dealing with people who have respiratory illnesses and things like that, asthma, bronchitis, chronic diseases and so forth. And also, I participate in any kind of emergency life rescuing situations. That just comes with the job. That's a part of what we do. So we establish airways, make sure the patient is breathing, and we do intubations. That means we put the breathing tube in, attach a ventilator. You might have heard that term now speaking, people
Oh,
saying that
now
term
we
a
hear it
lot.
every
Now,
day.
yeah, yeah. So we've been virtually unknown until now. Like, so now for the first time you hear them say respiratory therapists or, people who are lung specialists and that's what we do. So we're kind of on the forefront of that. Um, and so that was something that I felt that I needed to fall back on because I was kind of doubting my God given talents in a way, because sometimes people will tell you, "Hey, man, what you're doing is, that's just a hobby. Now you can't make any money from that. You can't live from that." And I think that's wrong, because you allow people to change the value that you ascribe to a gift that has immense value that you can't put a price on. And
True.
so I kind of sort of embraced those values and transmitted it to this music thing. I was like, maybe I'll just do something in medical field and just fall back on, which is cool, if anybody wants to do that. But so it kind of I took a little detour before I went there, and then after that I went to Berkeley College of Music, and that kind of like blew my mind because for me that was like finding that thing that I was looking for all my life. It's
So
just like the light
just
went
to
on.
cut you off, because I know you're going to go be elaborate with the Berkeley College of Music. I just want to ask you a quick question. The first college you went to, so when you was doing respiratory therapy, right?
Yeah.
I got a question for you. I used to have bronchitis, or at least my mother used to tell me I had bronchitis. Now, can you grow out of bronchitis? Like as a kid, if you had it as a kid, is that a such thing?
Well, the stage where it can get to become chronic bronchitis, and chronic bronchitis is kind of defined as, having an infection, a lung infection, every year for at least three years in a row. I think that's the original definition of it. If you keep getting it every year, then it's called chronic bronchitis.
Mm,
People get bronchitis, occasionally. It can be like an acute situation. Sometimes the weather changes, especially in the winter. People get sick and stuff like that, and those things can happen. If it starts happening continuously, then it becomes a chronic, more long term situation, right? And then that can cause a breakdown in the integrity of your lungs, and then eventually
mm,
cause you more breathing problem because if you imagine like these bunch of grapes, right? Like that's how your lungs kind of look, like a bunch of grapes inside
okay.
at the very bottom. Like, so this is where your gas exchange take place. Like you have these small vessels called capillaries running in between those grape-like structures, and that's where the exchange of gases take place. So when you breathe in oxygen, the pressure of the oxygen that you take in pushes across that surface into your blood vessels to give you the oxygen, and then the carbon dioxide comes back through that because now that's at a lesser pressure. We call them pressure gradient, so it's kind of moves out of your lungs, and you exhale the carbon dioxide that way. Very very like intricate. I won't get into much detail, but that's kind of a simple way of how it works. Um, when these structures start breaking down, so if you have chronic bronchitis and like so I tell people when you smoke, these kind of things happen to your lungs. Like you damage those structures, and so your ability to move the gases, the air, the oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out your lungs becomes more difficult to do that. And so you feel more difficult over time. But it takes some time. Sometimes it takes years, and you eventually develop difficulty breathing and maintaining a good oxygen level in your blood. So that's kind of the background on that. I mean, a lot of people, some people can grow it like asthma. Like one of my brothers had asthma, and he took up swimming as from an early age, and he outgrew it. Because it's what you're doing is because you're holding your breath and you're filling your lungs all the time, and any kind of like if you blow an instrument like a wind instrument, stuff like that, that also works. But what it does, it makes your lungs more efficient.
Yeah, you're utilizing your lungs and
Yeah,
you're opening the passageways if you're using an instrument or something like that, right?
yeah, and it makes your lungs more efficient, so your breathing becomes improved. So that works also.
Which makes a lot of sense. We got our first
Yeah.
question in the chat. Matic 2010. What sports did you play in Jamaica?
Oh man, they call it soccer here, but back home we call it football because we were actually partially before we were a we were a Spanish colony and then a British colony. So the whole soccer thing was a huge deal. Cricket,
Cricket.
um, yeah. I, I was
I,
a
al-
huge
I
fan
always,
of
I always
cricket though.
listen. I always wondered how you play cricket because we used to be in Franklin Park, me and my friends, and we play football there every Sunday. But sometimes, like before or after, or some other days that we wasn't playing football, we might have been playing basketball that day. We would see people playing cricket, mostly Jamaicans or Islanders of that
Yeah,
sort.
yeah.
We were watching. We was fascinated by cricket, but we was like, "How do you play it?"
I mean that game, that game can go on for days, for weeks, because sometimes they have the World Series that they're playing. Like you got Pakistan, you got Australia team, you got the Caribbean team. I mean, and some serious competition that goes on for a while. But cricket was not really my thing because I remember the first time I played cricket in high school, I did not like it at all. I'm like, this
Yeah,
ball is too tough. Like, and I was only like about 12 years old, right?
yeah.
That ball hit the racket and my hand vibrated. It's
Yeah, that
like,
ball is hard, man. I
yeah, it
remember
is
like,
hard, man.
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
remember going over there. We used to mess with them, saying, "Can we play and try to learn?" And he was like, "What the hell is this thing? That ball's hard." And the paddles. I'm like, "Yo, we can beat." But then we like playing with them. What kids? We trying to hit each other with them and stuff.
yeah, and it's like some people get confused at how the scores happen because they run back and forth between what they call the wickets, yeah, but it's so I guess the closest thing it comes to is like baseball. Like that's the closest thing
Yeah,
I can say.
for,
Yeah.
for us, yeah. I think so. Can you continue? So you went to Berkeley College of Music, and this changed your life. So what happened? There's a huge transition from,
Yeah, well, so I was always talking about music, and a friend of mine said, you need to do this, and I took the advice and decided to apply. And of course, for me, I was coming from a place where I never really had formal training initially because I didn't grow up with formal training. So I had a teacher, a really good teacher. He taught at Berkeley. I think he's still there now, Laszlo Gardani,
okay.
and he's from Hungary originally. Really, really cool guy. And so before I went in, he started teaching me like some shortcuts to survive, some survival
Oh, okay.
shortcuts.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it was I did some drills. I started with some other guys, another guy as well, but it just came to the point where I was really doing it by my natural ability,
Mhm.
and I was just still raw. And I remember I had to take an entrance exam and I had to do air training, and I never really like done much of in terms of like reading and ear training and things like that. And I placed into level 2.
Oh,
You
wow.
know,
That's
which
good,
shocked
right?
me.
I'm guessing that's
Yeah,
good, though.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was supposed to start at level 1, but like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, well, you
so
skip over a grade already, too.
I know it was weird,
Genius.
man. Because what happened was like during that air training exam, like placement exam, I was like, okay, this looked like it moves from this line to this line just based by the sound. I said, okay, so it must be from here to here. And I just like figured it out by ear, like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they placed me in level 2. So and then also I placed in like harmony, which is like theory. I placed in level 2 in that too. I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but you know, like I just my instinct, right? My
Wow.
musical instinct. So
Hey, you got it. You got it. You got it, man. That's it.
well, it meant like I had to work much harder, right? Because I remember
Oh,
my ear
yeah.
training teacher was like, I was having trouble with this because I've never done this before, and you have to conduct and do these signs with your hands while you're singing these notes, and I've never done that before. So I remember one time my ear training teacher had a talk with me one Friday. He says, "We may have to put it back in ear training 1, you know, because you know you're struggling here." I said, "Okay, tell you what, give me until Monday." And you know we'll make a decision. And I
Yeah.
went home, man, and all I did was 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, do all this conducting thing. So until it became just second nature to me, right? And did the homework. And when I went back to class on Monday, I performed perfectly. And he said, "Okay, good, you can stay." So
Wow, man. Yo, listen, man. You sound like you had that it factor, and you didn't even know it. And then when I know you probably said, "I'm gonna have to work harder," but at the same time, your mental, your mind got you in that higher program, and you were worthy of it. So they knew you were ready. You know what I mean?
well, the thing too is that we never know how what our potentials are sometimes unless we're pushed to that limit, And I realized that, and there was one of the things I wrote in my book that um, I never like challenges, but challenges are what brings you to the point where you can elevate to your next level. So the idea, the goal should be to put ourselves in positions of challenge in order to grow, in order to elevate. And I've proven that several times. And this is just one of those times where unless I was pushed, I wouldn't have elevated to that point. So challenges can be a good thing.
Yeah. So speaking of your book, let's get into your book. So it's called
Imagine Me
Imagine Me
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
And then it's Find Yourself and Believing in You. Great segment to get into your book because you mentioned it. I got a couple questions about your book. I guess what motivated you to, first of all, did you journal? Did you blog first? Or did you like straight just go to do a book? And what made you want to do a book first of all?
Okay, so the idea of this book was not really something that I planned to do. Um, the thing is, I started journaling my life, my experiences, because for me, I felt like sometimes I was going in a circle, and sometimes I come back to the same point of the circle and repeating the same things that I've done before, and making
Yeah.
the same mistakes that I did before. So I decided I would start journaling so that I can use it as a reference. If I come into a situation, I said, let me see if I journal about this. And I can go back and look and say, okay, I've been down this road before. Let me go this other direction then, because this way didn't work the last time, right?
Mhm.
So it started just as a journal. And when I journal, I cannot journal as if I'm writing a book. Like, I don't know, this is just the way I write, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was like this formal journaling that became something over time that um, this this voice kept saying, write, you should write a book, you should write a book. And I'm thinking, like, write a book? I don't have a PhD, I don't have all this. So sometimes you think like for you to do something, you have to have all these letters behind your name, and
You're
I
exactly right. You're exactly right. Because when I
yeah.
when I grew up, I thought the same thing. Because when I used to read a lot, I still read a lot. I'm reading 3 books now. I'm reading Jerry Love's book. I'm reading like what's the other book I got? I got who am I reading? Stuart Scott. Every Day I Fight. Like
Oh
I'm reading.
wow,
I'm
yeah, I love
reading
Stuart
another
Scott.
book too. I can't just recall, but the book that work. You always gotta have a book at work, book in the car, book on the bed. Right,
Yeah,
right. That's how I am. And and reading a lot made me dream a lot, maybe vision a lot, made me do a lot of thinking that my other family and friends weren't doing at the
right.
time. Because like a
Yeah,
lot of them closed minded to like just what just the struggle. Let's put it that way. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, so you didn't plan to do the book, did you?
No,
So you just did. So was you blogging first? Was you like
no,
just
no blogging,
journaling
just
your
journaling.
life period? That's it, like in a
Yeah,
book.
it was just
Oh,
journaling about my experiences, and I eventually felt like, you should do that. You should write this book. And I started saying, no, I shouldn't write the book. But the thought just kept on coming in my head. So I said, well, maybe if I just write the book, then this nagging voice will go away from me. So I said, okay, I'll write the book. I'll just put it on Amazon or something and forget about it. If it does well, it does well. I don't care. Like what, I just wanted to stop
yeah,
this voice in my head. So I started to now when I'm starting to write the book, it's like I'm starting to cut and paste, like just take all my journals and just arrange them. It felt like a composition to me because it's like I'm arranging all these different parts into different chapters, and no, this doesn't
hmm
go here, this doesn't go there, and it became at some point I started to see like, you know what, this is gonna work.
yeah,
I think this is gonna I'm gonna do this, and then once I saw the light, I just started dedicating a lot of time to just knocking it out. Like, I would just go to the library on an absolute quiet floor, and I would just like stay there for 6 hours and just like bang out stuff.
yeah. This book
Um,
came out in what 2019. So
yes,
you were touring. Were you touring and promoting the book at the time when COVID hit? What happened? What made did
no, this
COVID
is
stop you?
before COVID hit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
COVID
what I'm
kind of
saying.
shut
You came
everything
out
up.
in 2009, but you like in 2020, were you still promoting the book, and did it stop you from touring? What happened?
In 2020, actually, so I actually went to Boston to visit a couple of high schools because there's a high school in Boston, Boston Arts Academy, that was using my book for their class. They decided to use it as a
Oh wow.
for their senior class. Yeah, so it was a friend of mine that connected me, and this teacher, which I knew she wanted to. She was looking for a project for her senior class or an elective, and so this was perfect thing, and she wanted to use it for her class. And the thing about it is that it was very interesting. For this is my first time stepping into this kind of arena to sort of do any kind of a guest lecturing or anything like that. And this was
Mhm.
about life, So what I
Yeah.
wanted to do was to share my challenges in this book, what I went through, and how I overcome those challenges that I was having about finding my way, because it was all about finding my path. And the thing, sometimes it's right there in front of us, but we get distracted by the glitter and glamour of other people and what they're doing, and we lose our way. And so I wanted to show from your child coming up how you can already know your way and you can lose their way, but you can find your way back. And what surprised me was the feedback, the emails I got from these high school students was that they were experiencing the same exact thing. It blew my
Okay.
mind. I mean, the feedback, how much it helped them, how much it helped them to make decisions about their future and the struggles that they're going through. And I was able to talk to them and give them feedback. I mean, it was tremendous. I didn't realize that it was at this age in high school that they were having these kind of conflicts, and
Mm.
it was crazy. And I actually was able to go and speak at Foxborough High School
Oh
as
wow.
well. Yeah, spoke to three different I think it was junior high school classes there, and it was just amazing. These students were just they got the concept. They understood.
Now.
I talk about like things like what is reality.
Mhm.
What is reality? Is reality what you can see, or is it what you cannot see? Like and I challenged their notions of what reality really is, but they got it. That was amazing.
Now, do you believe like kids these days have a shorter attention span, and that's why your book probably reflects and I guess caters to their mentality more because you're actually telling them, hey, what makes you tick? What do you love? What do you love doing?
Right.
Go do it. Like that's pretty much what your book is saying
Yes.
in a
Yes.
sense, right? Um,
Yes.
so what made you tick? What makes you tick, or what makes you and I'm not everyone's not an expert of something, but this book sounds like it's helping a lot of people. So it's probably like wrote at a certain standard that you could be an expert in this field. So what makes you tick? What makes you passionate? What makes you drive? Where you get your drive from? You know what I mean?
So the first thing is awareness. You have to have awareness of who you are. And so like the course that we taught for the high school, we designed for the high school was about first finding yourself, creating a profile of who you are. Because when you understand who you are, that's where your fire comes from. That's where your
Okay.
passion comes from. Okay? So if I know that I'm not good at visual art, the drawing and designing, why am I going to go do that? I'm wasting my time.
True.
If I decide I have extra time I want to burn and I want to pick it up as a hobby, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm going to be trying to be serious about it, it's better that I find what it is that I was meant to do, which is inside of me. The thing that comes really easy for me to do, that's come naturally for me to do. I don't really have to put much effort into it, but it just clicks for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. These are the things that you want to really like pay attention to. So you want to pay attention to yourself, how you flow, what you connect to, what connections you have naturally to something that you're doing. Okay. And
Hmm.
because that's going to feed your fire, because you can be doing something that you're passionate about, that is a natural gift for you that you have, and so much time will pass by, hours will go by, and you don't even realize it because you're so caught up into it and you're so focused, that you are enjoying the moment of that thing, that it doesn't feel like it's work to you.
Yeah.
When you're doing the thing that you love and people are paying you for it, you're like, really? Like, this is not even work. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's finding who you are and finding out those gifts that are within you. Find your talents, what it is that you have naturally that you just flow with. It comes easy to you. Like, for example, people can find this out, like young people can find when they're in school, sometimes different subjects come easier to you. Like, I go to maybe a language class or English class or whatever, and it clicks for me. You know what I'm saying? I go to a math class, I have to record the lecture. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't click for me. While
Yeah.
there are other guys who are just like rolling off numbers in there. They don't even take notes, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just natural for them. You see what I'm saying? So you have to watch those signs, those signals about yourself that tells you who you are, what your strengths are, and you go towards your strengths.
But see, that's one of the things that's probably I don't know how we can change the school system, but like say like in say middle school you find that out. I don't know. Say like I'm a numbers guy, I like math,
Hmm.
and I can flip the math better than you. But we go to science class, you're all over the elements or something, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Um, isn't that when I don't know when that time is. I don't know if it's elementary school, whatever school time it is, and
It
your
starts
level.
earlier than that.
When do you? Yeah, like I
It's,
say, when should we start guiding those students just for that, or still learning the other stuff? I mean, you still got to learn math, but
well,
if you're like a science kind of geek or just science, you could tell that student is gonna solve us to get the Mars. Don't you kind of maybe he should like instead of waiting for college, shouldn't they cater to maybe
yeah.
more science then and not wait until
Yes.
they get to
Yes.
college and then like already 21 years old, 25 years old?
Yeah. And there's some kids who have had that opportunity. They've demonstrated that they have an exceptional ability for science or art or whatever, and they have, like when I was in college, there was a guy who was 13 years old, and he was a science major, like, what I'm saying, he just had it like that.
Yeah.
But I think that the observation starts from your kid, your toddler. You know what I'm saying? If your parents, whoever's around you, is observing how you flow. See what you're interested in. Because I've known people who start drawing art from they're 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And a demonstrating ability. And when you see that, you say, okay, I know what I need to do with this child. You see what I'm saying? When they get to
Yeah.
high school and they're demonstrating those kind of things, you guide them in that direction. Like for example, I tend to pick up, although I haven't mastered much of languages, but I tend to pick up languages easier. Okay,
That was
so
actually one of my questions. How many languages do you speak?
well, I speak half of languages. Like so I've been if I get exposed to a language, I start to pick it up. So like I studied Spanish for a while. Like when I was in high
Mhm.
school, I remember my teacher said to me after class, he's like, "Man, you just picked this up naturally, just like that." I couldn't explain it then, but
Yeah.
now I know why, because I'm wired that way. So like
Mhm.
Spanish was this thing just comes naturally to me, and then I got exposed to some Russian. And I was working with some nurses that are Russian, and I started just picking it up.
Wow.
I'm not around them anymore, so yeah, I've lost I've
You lost
lost
the
some of it.
dialogue.
Yeah, so and I would sound so authentic that I remember one patient called a Russian nurse for me to translate for her, and I'm like, no, you got this backwards. Like, I'm not the one. I'm not Russian. So, but and then lately I've been exposed to Hebrew,
Oh
so
yeah.
I've been learning Hebrew. Yeah, it's a different
That's really
animal.
difficult, right? I heard Hebrew is really difficult
Well,
to learn and
so
to write, read, and stuff like that.
here's the deal. For someone who is not wired for linguistics, it's difficult. For me, it's laziness. you know? So I mean, it clicks with me.
Yeah.
It's like I have an instinct for it. I don't have an instinct for math, so I have to work hard at that, but because it just doesn't come naturally for me. So I think it's more about that finding that thing that is natural for you, and so when I went to a college here, UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and I hadn't taken Spanish in
Yeah.
years, and I said, you know what, I want to take some Spanish classes, and I went to the first level. So I'm going to start from scratch, and nobody was
Yeah.
answering any questions in there, right? And I started answering the questions, and the teacher said, "You have to leave this class. You can't be in this class." Kick me out of the class. I went to the second level, and the same thing started happening again. Like, we don't like you. You just got here.
Like, get
But
out of here, dude. You're advanced.
but here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
It comes natural for them. But there are students in that I heard struggling. It doesn't come natural for them. You see what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah.
sometimes institutions force kids to learn or to suffer through these, like colleges especially, they cause them to suffer through these things for credit requirements for a degree or something
Yeah. I
like
was gonna
that,
say that.
and
Yeah.
and and it's just, I think it's just unfair. You know what I'm saying?
You should be
Let
able to
me do
double
this.
on your major. So if you like, say, if you are doing science or math, you should be able to do more math. Why not?
If that's your gift, you know what I'm saying? I think if that's your gift, then I think that's the direction you should go. And I really, because I struggle with art. You give me something to draw, you're not gonna recognize it when I'm done with it. You know what
Stick
I'm saying?
figures. You can't do no stick figures, man. Come on, man.
I only learned to draw a cube when I went into college. Like, for years I couldn't draw. I used to get F's in all my classes in high school for art. I just stopped going to
Get out of
class
here.
because I just could not draw. I can't see. I can't figure this out. And so I thought there was something wrong with me, but now I know there wasn't nothing anything wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to force someone to do something that they're not natural at is, and then to give them a grade of failure. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
sending the wrong message. On the other hand, I write music, I write songs, I write, and of course when I was in my second year in high school, my third year in high school, the teacher asked us, my English teacher asked us to write a poem. I wrote a poem, and she swore that I did not write this poem. She tore it up in front of the class
yeah.
and
Get out of
embarrassed
here.
me. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And
So is
and
that
look,
good? She was like, she probably was a struggling artist, and she was like, this mother. You write better
no,
than me.
but yeah, she couldn't believe I wrote it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But look at the direction that I went into. You see what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
really about recognizing students that they are different. Each person is different, and they're wired differently. So you have to find out who they are as an individual, and tailor their education in that direction so that they can become more successful in their lives and more fulfilled.
Like you said, that could start at an early age. That could start at a baby, right? I mean, you start seeing a baby. I don't know, if you say you play the piano and you got your baby in your lap and the baby starts playing. I'm not saying like it's gonna start playing like Beethoven or whatever, but if it starts like learning the keys and you're like, what's going on? And it loves the piano, maybe
Yeah,
you let it play the piano
yeah.
more a little bit, right?
It's observation. You watch and
Observation.
see how, because they have an internal compass that they have not yet tried to override. You see what I'm saying? We are all born with an internal compass for the direction of what we're supposed to go, right? As we get older, we override that compass and change direction. Whether it is that we ourselves look at something that we see somebody doing and covet that and want to do that, or somebody tells us that the way that we're supposed to go or where we're going is not valuable at all, it has no value. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then we change direction based on that. So a lot of my life, when I took a stock and look back, I realized that a lot of my life has been about living other people's ideas, what they think I should be doing.
Facts. Because like you
Yeah.
follow the leader, you follow the trends, you follow what, I don't know. Now these kids see something on Instagram, they go, "Oh, I'm supposed to be wearing brown shoes this month," and they go get some brown shoes. Like it's similar to something like that. What do you think about, like, let's just chop it up. We're gonna bring it back to your book. Let's have a little fun. You watch any movies?
Oh man,
What's
I
your
don't have time to watch
favorite movies you can
movies.
share with us? No?
I haven't had time to watch movies, but I have some favorite
Okay.
movies like The Matrix. The first one
Let's
is
go.
is a big deal for me. Let's see. There's a movie called The Big Short.
Oh,
Talks
The Big
about the
Short.
economic collapse. That's real stuff right there. I tend to go for the nonfiction kind of stuff too. Yeah, I'm sure there's some. It's been a while since I watched movies, but
You know
I
what's
really
funny? I've been just as busy as you probably, and I've been trying to, like, like I said, monopolize a lot of things on the board and trying to, like, induce passive income to not just me, but to the people around me, the people I love. And I'm trying to encourage them to exactly do what you do. Follow their dreams, follow their ambitions, and like and things of that nature. Um, I got
can,
a
can,
question, man.
go ahead.
What's your favorite food, man? Like, is it something you're not a cook? You cook? Are you, are the ladies teaching you still? What's going on out
Hey man, I grew up in my mother's house. Everybody had to learn to cook, clean,
there?
wash, sew, wash by hand. We ain't no washing machine now. Um,
Mm,
sew. So I've had to learn to
I know
sew
about
my own
that. I'm
clothes.
black. I know about that. You used to have a clothesline outside.
Yep,
Come
yep.
on, man.
Hey man, that was my when I turned 12. That 12 years old. That was my birthday present, man. And now you can wash your own clothes.
Hey, listen. I know we was probably like doing dishes and chores at probably like 3. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I was. I was freaking probably when I first started walking and I was able to grip something. It was like, oh, you can wash dishes. And put dishes in my hand. I'm like, yo, what are
You
you
got the
doing?
grip, man. You got the grip.
You got the grip. You better hold them dishes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, what books can you recommend besides yours? Because I do want to. What are you reading anything now? And are you working on another book as well?
So I was reading the book by Langston Hughes called "As I Wander." Kind of chronicles his life, his travels between the United States, how he got his book. I was reading his book before I finished writing mine. I think just after I finished writing mine, because I had this idea of how he went around and promoted his book, and just his, he went to Russia, he went to Cuba, just I think he went to Haiti as well, and just his experiences there. And this was like during the time of segregation and racism, like, you know, big time, and he found a way to make it happen. So I was kind of inspired by that. I didn't finish read the book because there's so many things are going on with me, but it's one of the books I have on my uh, my shelf to read.
Yeah.
The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks also
Mm.
is a book that I want to read. I have several books that are just sitting there waiting, but I'm trying to push out my own book. I have another book that's coming out.
Oh, wait, this year?
Well, next year.
Okay.
Next year, in the process of writing right now. I don't want to give away the title, but it's going to be a little bit controversial.
I thought we were about to have an exclusive. I'm like, exclusive.
So yeah, so basically, it's going to deal with the dynamics between like intraculture, intraracial dynamics based on just how Black folks relate to each other, Black folks from different eras, Black folks from America, from the Caribbean, from Africa, just how we relate to each other, and how that that relationship is kind of spun off the slave trade, and how that really influences the way we treat each other, and the dynamics between us and other cultures and other races. So it's really something that I saw when I wrote my book. I saw some of the reaction to me by my own people, like, wow, I didn't know you were that smart, or like, you wrote a book, like, and some people will try to discredit it. Some people will try to one person wanted to buy it for, tell you what, I'll give you $5 for it, So, and you wanted to send me the manuscript, and I can read it, and it's just like, people who don't really value your work, and sometimes the people, what's interesting, that the most people that bought my book were not people that look like me.
Yeah. And that's another question. We could probably talk for days, man, because you're a very interesting person. That's one of the reasons I wanted you on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, like when Jerry recommends certain people, I kind of like do a breakdown. I try to do a little research of my own, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited, because like I get, everyone actually has a story, and your story is it's insane, because and your second book sounds like I'm gonna need a gallon of coffee, because I'm gonna want to read this from to the rooter to the tutor the first day I get it in my hands.
Yeah.
Do you know at least a time stamp, like maybe like in July, maybe in June, maybe next year?
I'm hoping for March, April, somewhere
Okay,
around that
early
time.
release.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that there's a lot there to write, but it's nonfiction. It's coming from my own experiences. A lot of my own experiences in this book. But the goal of this book is to actually give people of color an understanding of, just so like, show us how we behave and why we behave that way, which will give us an opportunity to change.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is the goal is to bring value, to make us realize our value, because unless we realize our value, we're going to operate on a lower level than that. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
And
yeah. I mean, I believe that Black Americans, or Americans, period, they're programmed, or they're programmed to a sense to believe in certain things by television or by the
right,
media.
right.
So what you have to do first is kind of break them down a bit, you know what I mean, and then rebuild
Yeah,
them with
yeah,
with the knowledge that's
yeah,
truthful,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
honest. You need the honest material to strike through to all the stereotypes or whatever else they believe, because of the media was misguided them. Maybe because their
Correct.
parents misguided them, their circle of friends misguided them, and or their town and city and government or whatever misguided them. So you first got to break them down. You got to like reconstruct someone to a certain extent. You got to like break them down, then reconstruct them so they can mentally think like what you're saying in the book, right? Is that
Yeah.
where you're going with this book?
Yes, I think that what we're lacking is an understanding or knowledge of our own legacy, the good part of our legacy. Because when if I say the words Black history, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
For me, it would be probably what I've learned in Black history in white America, which is, I'm going to go straight to like the famous people
Civil
like
rights
Martin
movement,
Luther King
right?
or
Exactly,
Malcolm
exactly.
X, or
And
stuff that they might have taught us about certain people that they wanted to know about that they controlled. I mean, they didn't control
okay,
Malcolm X, but
so basically, the idea is that there are certain words that trigger certain thoughts in our mind. Okay, bring
yeah.
back certain memories in our mind. So when you say Black history, people think of Black History Month, Martin Luther King, the Civil Rights Movement, all those kind of things like that. They don't think before that. The question is, what were we before that?
Kings and queens.
What's our legacy before that? And that's the thing. Like we need to stop, starting at slavery. We need to go at before that, because then we'll start to realize that there's a lot of value there, a lot of legacy there that we have overlooked and that we need to find.
Do you
I think
believe
it's
with the?
important.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but do you believe with who got the studio now? About to call him Medea.
What's his name?
Oh Lord.
I draw
What
back
can
on
I
his
say?
name.
I'm thinking of. Oh Lord, I just had it. Perry. Tyler
Tyler
Perry.
Perry. Yeah,
So
right.
Tyler Perry, right, with the new studio and the you think now more directors, Black directors, can bring all that content in and talk about what we were before we were slaves?
I think
Now
that's
we
a
have that. We
responsibility
have
we
that.
have.
Yeah, we have that option and our responsibility. Hopefully, we can start making those movies and writing those books. And your book seems like it's going to enlighten that and bring that to the light a little bit, right?
Yeah. It's about it's not just. I'm not here to tear down our people. I want
Of course
to
not.
bring an awareness of what has happened to us and why we operate the way we operate, and that we're operating under conditioning, on a certain kind of conditioning, that we're not thinking independent thought, like our free thought as we think we are, but that our conditioning is causing us to behave a certain way, to treat each other a certain way. And
Okay.
if we realize that this conditioning, which is manipulating our behavior, if that is exposed, then we can have an opportunity to start to change that. You see what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know how long else you have. I wanted you to promote your book again. We're within an hour. I know we were late. So you got a little bit, couple more minutes for a couple more questions, or do you have to go? I can give
Sure,
you. Can I
sure,
give you?
sure,
Can you give me 5 more minutes?
sure, man. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like really interested in this book. I haven't read it yet. I'm gonna get your first book, and of course, I'm already excited about the second book. Like I said, I just met. Well, I've been to New Jersey, but I just met you, and I just kind of like I wanted to rush to this review before you got busy. I'm like, because I heard you're writing the second book. I'm like, this dude's. I'm not gonna be able to get to this guy. He's gonna be famous, before next year. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to stop by, and hopefully I can get him now. You know what I'm saying? So
Uh,
I will. I do have plans to get your book. So I don't have any like detailed questions about your book. But
yeah.
I'm writing a book. I'm working on actually 3 books.
Oh wow.
Just humorously at the same time. I blog too. So when I found out that you blog, and I found out your website, I was so excited that you blog too. And I was just excited, period, that you write and that you induce and you highlight writing as writing and reading and things of that nature in the culture, because a lot of Black men, that's not equated to who we are. They usually, our stereotypes are usually what, baggy pants or
Yeah.
he left the home, he's a baby father, daddy, you know what I mean? A lot of
Right.
negative connotations and stuff like that.
Right.
So having people like yourself on and myself like spread a lot of positive influence or just information in general, man. It's big, and this is why I do this, man. This is why it's called the Passive Podcast. It relates to passive income, but it relates to passive knowledge. It relates to getting knowledge, like in any way necessary, and just getting, I guess, a array of knowledge from different people that are your neighbors, people that you
Right.
like. Somebody might watch this and walk down the street and go, "Wait, I saw that guy last night." And then they go, "Wow, I didn't know he knew all that. I didn't know he was,
Right.
writing a book. I didn't know he was, And that you said something earlier about that kind of stuck to me. A lot of people that you know, a lot of people that you love, a lot of your supporters that you think internal and the ones that your friends and family, they usually don't support you. And like you said, the ones that you don't think is going to support you, usually the ones that buy your book or read your blog or listen to your YouTube channel or your podcast, right?
Yeah, but and that's not by accident. It's just like I say, it's part of the conditioning.
Yeah.
That we only when someone of a different persuasion has interest in it, then or people tend to want to say, oh, well, it must have some value, and that's not by accident. That's conditioning. There's something called the Clark experiment, right?
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
heard
yeah.
about it.
Talk about that.
Right. So, it is that these dolls, black doll, white doll, and these black kids are saying the black doll is bad. And these kids are young, like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And they're automatically just saying this black doll is bad, right? And this white doll is good. Why is it bad? Because it's black. Why is it good? Because it's white. And that to me is a tragedy. Like, what I'm saying, for kids that young. So you see that they're being manipulated. We're being conditioned to think of each other in a certain way. And on the you talked about sometimes the stereotypes of black men having baby mothers all over the place, things like that. And I want to shout out to or women. Women in general have this control about who they allow into their personal, intimate space. You know what I'm saying? They really have control over that. And, like sometimes I've had women like at work, like nurses at work, surround me and ask me this question, like, what's up with men? And I say, well, you have the power to if a man is not holding a gun to your head, like, what I'm saying, you do not have to allow him in. Okay.
Sure.
Because the fact is that what I've understood is that the one thing that is important to a man, especially a black man, is that he gets the respect of a woman, of his black woman.
Yep.
If she does not respect him, he feels useless. He feels like he doesn't care
Yes.
about himself. He becomes self-destructive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so a woman. I've always said that a woman has the power to make a man achieve something that he never dreamed he could. Whether it's your mother, your wife, or sisters, they can light a fire under you and make you shoot to the moon, my brother. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be shocked that, man, I didn't know I could do this. Like, because I felt like Obama couldn't have gotten to where he was without Michelle.
Oh, without Michelle,
Because
come
I'm
on,
sure,
man.
trust me, man, there's a lot of times
Come
I'm sure
on,
you
man.
want to quit.
Listen, we
I'm
know
sure you wanna
who's
quit.
pushing those buttons. We know who's pushing those buttons in the White House.
Yeah.
Right? Michelle was making them decisions in the bed, like, you know what you're gonna do tomorrow, right? You know what you're gonna say tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he wanted to quit when he was running for office the first time. I'm sure he wanted to quit, but I'm sure she gave him that talk. You are not going to quit, like, you know what I'm saying. So women have that power, but they can also use the power destructively. You know what I'm saying? So
You're right. You're right about that. I was gonna say that they could go both ways because there's a lot of black women that tear down black men
yeah,
for their own gain. I would say. I
it's
can't
like
equate
I think
women.
it's just like a power,
Power thing.
to
I
see
don't
that
want
they
to
have
say
that power to
women.
do that, But
Yeah,
women have a lot of power, you know what I'm saying?
they do.
And
They do.
a woman can use her power to make a man turn around. You know what I'm saying? They have that power to do that.
100%.
And so as men who's been like disenfranchised and marginalized, I mean, we need a woman to help us get back on track. You see what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
can't do it without them.
No, I understand. I got 2 questions for you. Then we're gonna end this. Listen, you're a very interesting person. I swear to God. I'm loving how I'm loving the group and the circle that surrounds Jury Love. She has excellent friends
She's
and
a
people.
great person.
She's a
Awesome.
great person. Yeah, she's an
Yeah,
awesome
man.
person.
I mean, she motivates me. Her
Yeah,
face
that's
should
what
be on the
she.
cover of my book.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
She embodies Imagine Me Unlimited for real.
Yeah,
she's
and that's why
serious.
I love her to death. Like I told you, I don't know if you watched our interview, but she I had a surprise on it, but she actually kind of got me through, the beginning of the COVID stage. Everybody was scared, everybody was ready to jump out the window or something, right? But we kind of found each other around that time, just talking, and she kind of, and maybe I did the same, but we would just talk about regular stuff, and she would take my mind off, dying or something crazy or the disease itself. You know what I mean? So, great person. Question I've been dying to ask you is, can you teach success? Can you teach success? Could I break that down, or you?
I think that you can teach the ingredients. You can help someone cultivate the ingredients that it takes to make success. I think that there's a process of success, and I think I'm so sorry. Sometimes people have their skewed definitions of success. Like they'll equate it to being a millionaire, or but there are people who are millionaires who are miserable, and some commit suicide, some are just bored with their lives because they're not doing what it is that their purpose. Success, I think, has a connection to purpose. Why are you here? Why were you born? Like Mark Twain says, the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true. 100%.
It's the why that eludes us, right? Why am I here? And nobody really asks a question. Nobody's really, hardly anybody's trying to find the answer to that question. So I think that when you find out why you're here, I think that will motivate you to working hard, to achieving that why, to fulfilling that goal for which you're here, the purpose for which you're here. Okay. And it takes the discipline and consistency. I think there are a lot of people that talk about some of the ingredients that you need to do that. But I think what will fuel your fire to be consistent and to be disciplined is having a connection with who you are, understanding who you are, and finding your path, finding your own path.
Man, Yosef, man, oh man, you've been a blessing to this platform. Man, I
Thank
don't know
you.
what else to say. Listen, now, just like Jury and just like who else did Wes Woodson, man. I got thousands of more questions. I can't wait till you finish your next book. And guess what? This is an open platform, so whenever you want to come on, you can come on.
Thank you.
I'm gonna throw up your book title one more time. Let's talk about for your last, I guess. What do you want to? What's your last message? What do you want to give out to the people? Anything you want to spill on us? Some more knowledge, some more gems.
I think basically, man, it's about finding you. Find yourself. Like I said, when I did this class, first thing we did was talk about who are you. That's the question you need to ask yourself. Who are you? If you tell me, oh, I'm a disc jockey, or I'm a teacher, it doesn't really tell me who you are. You know what I'm saying? It just, you tell me what you do for a living. If I say, who are you? And you tell me your name, that's not who you are. That's your name,
Exactly.
but who you are at your core. If I ask you who you are and you give me an answer, and I ask your mother or your father who you are, they're going to give me a different answer.
You're right.
The answer they give me is the one that says, when they come home and they see something broken in the house, they don't have to ask who did it. They already know who did it, and they call that child, right? Because
exactly.
they know. So our parents know us on that level, like what makes us tick.
Yeah.
They know our habits, know what we do, but we never know ourselves to that level, and we need to start learning about who we are to that level, so that when we make our decisions in life, our decisions are based on who we are, not on some other entity or some other idea. But your decisions are going to be in sync with who you are, so that when you make decisions, everything agrees. Your mind, your heart agrees with that decision, because you're connected to who you are. And I think that's the main thing that we need to find out who we are and follow that path.
Now, knowing who you are is kind of like a feeling, right? Like, I'm gonna put it this way. So, and I was always talking about. I said it, I think, on another podcast or maybe one of my other videos, but I was talking about good and bad energy, right? So, you walk in a room, you still, like, say we're just at a seminar, right? And we're waiting for the speaker. The speaker comes in. I don't know. throwing his papers in the air, whatever, his coffee, spilling his coffee, he's frustrated. You can tell he's frustrated.
Mm.
He has that negative energy that might spill into the crowd. And then now we're thinking about maybe a bad day we had or something like that. You know what I mean? So he's already spilling his negativity onto the crowd or someone else, at least the one or two people, someone. He's reflecting on somebody.
Right.
It's kind of similar to that, like in a sense, right? Good and bad energy. Like if I ask your mother, who is Yosef? Who is he? She might say he's a caring, loving person. He shares a lot. Your father might
He's
say
stubborn
works
too.
hard.
Like, he likes to have his own way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she'll tell you all those things about me, because she's observed me from I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
she
but how
knows
would you
exactly.
describe yourself? Like, would you use more verbs, more adjectives?
So what I would say, what I know myself is that, like, about 80% of my personality, of who I am, is wrapped up in music. It's wrapped up in my what I write, what I put out there. You can tell my mood based on listening to my music.
So you have any
And
music? You have any new music? You have music out that we can go search for?
there's music on this site called Reverb Nation. It's under my
Oh,
name, Yosef
okay.
Yisrael.
Information.
Yeah. And someone wanted to hear some stuff I was doing, so I put out like 3 songs.
Oh, okay.
That's up there. Yeah, I have some stuff, more stuff on the shelf, but I'm kind of going in the circle to get back around to that at this point. But a lot of who I am is, you'll find in my creativity. So who we are comes out in our creativity. So if I hire you to to say move this object from here to there, there's no creativity in that, right? But
True.
if I come and look for you and I see you, like the way you decorate your place, or the way when you're working on some art or something like that, then I know, like, wait a minute, this dude's an artist. Like he can do this stuff. Your creativity is coming out. It's telling me more about who you are. You may draw something that's very stark, that's very dark, or something that's very bright and very, and it tells me about your mood. It tells me more about what's inside of you, because who we are starts from inside. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's where when I talk about reality, that reality is not what's visible. Reality is what's invisible. So, for example, my computer is something that's evidence, right?
Yeah.
It tells me that someone had an idea. I can't see the idea, but I see the evidence.
Yeah.
So unless it's kind of like when you do something and your parents say, "What were you thinking?" Because based on what you did, they knew that you had some kind of a weird idea about doing something. You're crazy, right? So
Yeah.
it's really starts with the idea that we can't see, but then that's why our thoughts are real, man. Our thoughts are real. Our ideas are real. So someone had an idea for a computer, someone had an idea for a phone, someone had an idea for making light, both tables, chairs, whatever it is. The chairs we're sitting on, the phones we're using, everything started with an idea, which you can't see. But what you see is the evidence. You know what I'm saying? So I think that what we see in that's created by us gives us an idea of who we are, of what our talents are. And that's the goal. Find out what your talents are, because in that is your identity. So that's where I come from.
That's beautiful, man. Like how like a
Yeah.
lot of people say, we're gonna end it on this. A lot of people say, then I want you to promote too as well. But a lot of people say, you can tell, a man by his shoes, or you can tell a person by the music they listen to. So, what music do you recommend? Do you have any albums that you go to that maybe relaxes your soul, or that you like to dance to, or is it the Lionel Richie Dancing on the Wall? What's the Michael Jackson? Is it the Bob Marley's?
Wow.
What do you go to for what do you always go back to? What kind of music do you always go back to that saves you and puts you in good spirits?
So I like to listen to, like, really, like, meditation music sometimes, because it
Okay.
kind of gives me. I like to start my day out like that. So
Oh,
sometimes I'll get up early and I'll sit there and I'll just listen in quiet, just easy listening music.
yeah.
that just gives you a chance to just connect to yourself. And
Okay.
I love like the Yellow Jackets. I love some reggae makes a lot of connection for me. To me, that's like soul that connects with my soul. So reggae definitely. I listen to sometimes I listen to some of the old stuff. James Ingram, Lionel Richie, of course. Sometimes
Oh yeah.
I just a variety of stuff. I love jazz too, so
Jazz.
I listen to, sometimes I listen to maybe Miles Davis or Elaine Elias. I think she's a Brazilian artist, really good. Um, I listen to a array of different kind of music. So I like funk, so
Ooh,
sometimes, you
funk
know,
music. That's good, man.
yeah,
That's good. It's a jazz album that I want to recommend for you.
okay,
And it's got the funk in it too. You ever hear of a guy named Terrence Martin? Great musician. He has a new album called Village Days. Go check that out. Terrence
okay.
Martin.
Terrence
It's
Martin. Gotcha.
like on the cover it's a car. It says South of Crenshaw presents Village Days, Terrence Martin project. A lot of good jazz, a lot of good it's Terrace Martin. You got to check out his work. A lot of jazz, a lot of funk, something that you would like. It got a little hip hop in it once in a while.
What's the
But
name of that album?
it's called Village Days. Village
Okay.
Days. Yeah. South of Crenshaw presents Village Days, the Terrence Martin project. But that's the newest project that he has. But once you start getting into his dialogue of work, you're gonna probably you'll love it. All right,
Okay.
man. Listen,
Sounds
man.
good.
Like I said, I could talk to you all day. It's almost a minute, an hour and 30 minutes. But I want you to promote. Where can people find you? Where can people buy the book? Where can people? I heard you got a website. What's going on?
Yeah, my website actually is imaginemeunlimited.com. I also I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Yosef Israel, or if you type in Imagine Me Unlimited, then you will see my Facebook comes up as well.
Is that it? Did I spell it right?
Imagine Me Unlimited. Yes.
Okay. So they
And
can find you on that.
yeah, and my contacts is on there. I'm also on Instagram under the same name, Imagine Me Unlimited. And let's see. Also, I'm going to be in a few days. I'm going to be starting this new venture, teaching cardiac life support to people. So I'm going to be teaching CPR, life support techniques to people. So I don't know. That's for another show, right?
No, but yeah, listen, we bringing you back on. Come on, man. It's not enough time. No, because I at my job, every job I work, I'm on a safety committee, and then I do the CPR training. I do
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
what's the
Okay.
other training? CPR and there's it's the CPR. There's the other training. I forget the other. I'm going crazy. There's
ACLS. There's ACLS, like
ACLS. Yeah,
Advanced
I do
Cardiac Life
all that. I'm
Support,
trying to remember
PALS.
off the top of my head,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean. So I'm all about safety, and that's just something that I've been leaning towards
Great.
my whole life, and I'm all about that. I don't
Yeah,
play
man.
around about
Yeah, man.
safety,
So
man.
I'm going to be following your footsteps, man.
I'm trying to follow your footsteps, man. Listen, man, listen. Like I said, everybody, man, I can talk forever with this guy, man. He's brilliant. You can tell. I'm gonna get your book. By the time I read your first book, your second book will be out, and then I have you on that. Hopefully, I'll read both of them by the time you come back. And like I said,
Yeah.
this platform's for even if you started selling sandals next week. Come back on. Sell some sandals, man. I might not give you an hour, but I'll give you like 5-10 minutes to sell your sandals.
I
You know what I mean?
appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's
absolutely.
just a channel that promotes positivity and people that cater to that. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to spread a little love, man. I'm just trying to do my best, and I'm trying to get everybody in my circle in that mood. You know what I mean? And so they can live their best lives. You know what I'm saying? And reading your book, go everybody subscribe. Go on imaginemeunlimited.com. Grab that book, man, and then you're gonna be fiending for the next book. I'm pretty sure after that. And
thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing, man. You're doing a great thing, man, and you're doing a real good service to people and helping people, and that's being a voice for us and helping us all. That's really, you know. And hey, if I can do anything for you too, man, like just let me know. Hit me up, man. So
No, I appreciate it.
it's
I
all
think, like,
good.
connections like this, with me, like, venturing to write a book, I can always lean to you. Maybe I hit you up on your, a text and ask you, what's the next process? Maybe you can hit me up and ask me what about podcasts, or maybe you can hit me up. I am an artist, so maybe I can teach you how to draw.
No, that's not going to happen.
Everybody can learn how to draw, brother.
I can tell you now, man. Hey, I'll give you a quick example, right? I had a friend of mine years ago that wanted to learn to play the bass, right? And every week I went to see this man. It was like we were moving nowhere. Like it was the same thing over and over again. I had to stop teaching. Like I can't take your money anymore because he didn't have the. You know what I'm saying? He's just not wired that way. It was just not his gift. So when it comes, that's me in art. Like you can teach me as much as you can. It's not happening, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I can accept that. It's cool with me.
Man, listen. You might not be is left side the more artistic side? I forget, like the brain. I can't remember. I think is it right side? Right side is more artistic, supposedly, something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some of the right side of my brain, man. We're gonna get an operation going, man. Come
Still
on,
not gonna work, man. I'm telling you. I'll do it as a hobby. If I'm bored, I've got nothing to do. But no, man, you got that. You got that. I'm gonna need you at some point.
Exactly. Everybody use each other's resources, man. And like I said, please like, subscribe, comment on this video, share the video, man. It's a simple thing you can do. It's a painless thing you can do. It's free to like this video, to subscribe to the video, and to log on to what Yosef Yisrael. Am I saying that your name right, King?
Yisrael. It's like with a Y. Yisrael.
Yisrael.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say Israel, so I'm like, should I say it? I'm gonna say Israel, but
I never make a big deal about it because it's Hebrew, so it's a different kind of language, but it's cool.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, man. Like I say every time, and like I have a co-host. He's working today. His name's Juan, aka Big Sexy Rodriguez. Funny, you gotta watch some of our old podcasts. This is the episode of our podcast with local and talented artists, author. Are you a father?
Yeah, I have a son, man.
Man, we didn't even get into that. Oh my, see what I'm saying?
That's what the next book.
So shout out your son. Shout out your son's name or something. I don't know. Nathan. Shout out to Nathan. What's going on, man? Your father's brilliant. Listen to your father.
That'll be the day.
Listen to your father, man.
He's a good dude. But, it's
all right, man. This is Marquis Walker, and this is Yosef Yisrael signing out. Much. Please subscribe to his channel. Get that book, man. Stop playing, man. This guy's a smart, intelligent man. He's not gonna steer you wrong, and I won't steer you wrong. I always try to have some good content on this show, and that's what I'm all about, man. So this is Marquis Walker signing out. Boston. I always say Beantown, real loud.
Beantown, man.
Beantown. No, that's all you gotta say.